Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the new 2021 Marvel film, Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings. This film is directed by Destin Daniel Cretton and it stars Simu Lee, Aquafina, and lots of other people whose names I'm going to butcher if I attempt them, so I'm not going to attempt them. Now then, this is the newest Marvel film, and essentially it focuses on the character of Shang-Chi, or Sean as he calls himself in America, who is the son of like a Chinese warlord, I suppose, who is in command of the Ten Rings. He's trained to be an assassin from a young age. He escapes to America when he revolts against his father. And he's essentially his past catches up with him. His father needs him, and they go on essentially a mystical adventure to try and, so his father thinks, release their dead mother from a prison in another dimension. Right, what are my thoughts on Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings? Well, I have to be honest, I wasn't initially that interested in this film. And I thought I had a little bit of spare time on my hands. I'll have a little jaunt out to the cinema and check this one out. So I have done that now. And my thoughts on Shang-Chi is what we have here is actually really quite an entertaining film. You can expect nothing less, I suppose, here from Marvel. I mean, they know how to make a film entertaining. They know how to deliver on the big screen. You know, they throw big budgets at all these films, take risks, and they can afford to take risks because they're ridiculously rich and wealthy. And they have taken a risk here with this because, you know, I don't know this character, you know. I don't know anything about his comic roots or anything like that. But then again, I didn't know anything about the Guardians of the Galaxy either, and they turned out to be really brilliant. So I didn't really have any baggage in regards to going into this film. I have mentioned previously that I have noticed a shift on YouTube and social media and the internet in regards to a bit of a negativity towards Marvel these days now. I think their crown of the champion of the cinema is probably coming to an end. It does seem like maybe people have had enough. They're accusing them of doing this, that, the other, being woke and all this kind of stuff. And I'm noticing a little bit of a shift. But I do think some of the Marvel properties will still do exceedingly well, like the Spider-Mans and the Thors and, you know, the familiar ones. And I do think the ones that are more at risk are films like this, unfortunately, because people don't know the characters and then they'll get all sorts of weird accusations thrown at them by people with an agenda. But if you go into this film at face value, you will get a really fun and entertaining film that has plot holes that you could drive a bus through, granted, some really clumsy storytelling, and I mean some of the worst clumsy storytelling I've seen in Marvel, but fun and entertaining, with some good effects, great effects, that eventually swallow up the film. I think they go way overboard at the end here, Marvel, with this film. It turns into almost like a Godzilla film by the end. It's just like, what is going on? This is not a martial arts film anymore. It's got off the scales here. I think you guys have, you know, I think they lost the plot by the end here. They just threw every single special effect. They probably realised by the time they got to the end, actually, we've not spent that much of the budget here, guys, because it's martial arts film. You know, there's not that much budget spent here. We spent a little bit on the fight choreographer, but we've got about 90 million left. Right, let's chuck some CGI at the screen at the end and give the audience what they expect. And bloody hell, by the end, you're like, it's a bit like a Transformers film crossed with Godzilla at the end. You can't keep track of what's going on in the film. There's rings flying around everywhere. There's dragons. There's beasties, arrows. It's just like, whoa, this is like, I'd like to say a visual feast, but I'm not sure it was. It was almost headache-inducing, the last 25 minutes of this film. And I think it lost its soul, it lost its core, because at the very core of this film is a message, you know, about family and relationships and all this kind of stuff. And initially it felt reasonably grounded. There's some really fun and entertaining martial arts sequences in this film. There's a great one on a bus at the beginning, and there's some more further into the film, and then it keeps escalating and escalating, and it's almost like, well, people are expecting this to be, way over the top and, full of, superpowers and special effects and this, that, and the other, and they literally go to town, and I thought it spoilt it. I think they should have kept their feet a little bit more on the ground and kept this film a little bit more grounded, and I think it would have actually helped the film a little bit more. We do get, and I'm not going to spoil who it is, but we do get an appearance from a previous character in a Marvel film that I actually quite liked. I think it was a curveball I did not expect, but it was a real pleasure to see him again. So yeah, I did appreciate that. I just felt like the story was just very, very clumsy. Its introduction to many of its characters was very, very sloppy and clumsy. There's even an exposition drop late into the film by Michelle. I think it's Michelle Yeoh. Does this exposition drop? It's almost a mirror image of how Kurt Russell did his exposition drop in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with imagery, and and it was just like, oh, Marvel, that's just really clumsy and sloppy. And it happens constantly in this film in regards to moving the story along. And to me, I reiterate it again, it felt very, very clumsy. The villain here is okay. I didn't mind the main villain here, who basically plays his father, who's like the owner of the Ten Rings, but then he gets superseded by this like Godzilla type villain by the end, which just got bloody ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, it's okay, it's watchable, it's entertaining. A bit like Black Widow, it ain't gonna crack the top 10 of Marvel films, I don't think. But if you've seen a lot of negativity around this film, don't necessarily believe it. Go and watch it and see for yourself. I promise you'll be entertained. It's fun, but it ain't gonna blow you away in any way, sort of thing. I think they probably would have been better to keep it a little bit more grounded, this film. But I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I did enjoy my time with it. I was certainly entertained with it. So yeah, that's my review for Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings. A decent addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and I will be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.